Hello, students. Welcome back to the geography class. I hope you all are doing great and you all are not feeling the pace quite sudden or fast. So today we are going to again do the second chapter, that is physical features of India. And out of the four main physiographic divisions, we have completed four. So today will be a recap of the first four. Okay. So our country has practically all the major physical features. So we have mountains, we have plains, we have desert, we have plateaus, and we have islands. So we are practically covering all the major physical features of the earth. India is a vast country with varied landforms and physical features. We have big Himalayas, we have beaches in the south, we have Thar Desert in Rajasthan, and we also have the Deccan Plateau. Even the color of soil varies from one region to another. In Maharashtra, we find both black soil and red soil. But in Madhya Pradesh, we find only red soil. The variation in soil is due to the kind of rock from which they are made. The relief and physical features of India have evolved with different geological periods. During the process of formation of India, the way India looks today, the Indian landmass was subjected to weathering, deposition, and erosion. The physical features of India that you see today are the result of all these processes. No one knows how exactly India was formed. However, scientists had several theories which try to explain the process. One of these theories is the theory of plate tectonics. The theory of plate tectonics is that okay, it means that these are the major facts. India is a large landmass formed during the geological periods by processes such as weathering, erosion, and deposition, and this has influenced the relief. According to the theory of plate tectonics, the crust or the major upper part of the earth has been formed out of seven major and some minor plates. These plate movements are of three types: convergent boundary, divergent boundary, and transform boundary. The oldest landmass was a part of the Gondwana land, which includes India, Australia, South Africa, South America, and Antarctica in one large landmass. So over here you can see India, Australia, South Africa, South America, and Antarctica, which forms one large land mass. The physiographical divisions of India are the Himalayas, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands. The Himalayan mountains are fold mountains which cover the northern part of India. They're geologically young compared to other mountain ranges. The Himalayan range is the highest and the most rugged mountain range in the world. It extends from river Indus in the west to river Brahmaputra in the east. It forms an arc of 2,400 kilometers, and the width of this range varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Altitudes of the mountain vary more than the western part. The Himalaya consists of three parallel ranges: Himadri, Himachal, and Shivalik. Himadri is the northernmost range, and it is also known as the Great or the Inner Himalaya. It's the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains the highest peaks. The Great Himalayan folds are asymmetric in nature. The core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. It is perennially snowbound, and a number of glaciers descend from this range. I want you all to name one peak. This consists of the loftiest peak. So I want you all to name one peak of Himadri in the comment section below. All right. Himachal. The ranges lying to the south of Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system, and it is known as Himachal or Lesser Himalayas or even the Middle Himalayas. The compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, and the average width is 50 kilometers. The Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. The Dhauladhar and Mahabharat range are also prominent ones. The range consists of famous valleys of Kashmir, the Kangra and the Kulu Valley in Himachal Pradesh, and this region is very well known for its hill stations. So for Himachal, you will name any one hill station in the comment section below. And Shivalik, the outermost range of Himalayas, is called the Shivalik. They are also called as the outer Himalayas. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers, and they have an altitude varying between 900 and 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges, which is located farther in the north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivalik are also known as duns. Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun are some well-known duns. Okay, so you will name any one dun for the Shivalik. There are three comments I want. The Himalayas are also divided into regions from east to west and have been demarcated by the river valley. The part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj has been traditionally known as the Punjab Himalaya, but it's also known as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya. There are basically 4 divisions on the basis of river valley: Punjab Himalaya, Kumaon Himalaya, Nepal Himalaya, and Arunachal Himalaya. So basically, the Punjab Himalaya that I told you all about. It is the western section of Himalayas and it lies between River Indus and River Satluj. The second one is the Kumaon Himalayas that lies between the Satluj River and the Kali River. This section covers all of Uttaranchal and the sources of Ganga and Yamuna are located in this particular section. Next comes the Nepal Himalayas. This section of Himalayas stretches between River Kali and River Tista. Then there is Mount Everest and Kanchenjunga, which are the two highest peaks of the Himalayas. They are located in this Nepal Himalaya section. And finally, we have Arunachal Himalayas or Assam Himalayas. The older name is Assam Himalayas. This Himalayan range is between River Tista and River Dihang. This is known as Arunachal Himalaya. Older name is Assam Himalaya. This part of Himalaya spreads over Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Assam. The highest peak in this section is Namcha Barwa. Okay. So these were the divisions of Himalayas on the basis of river valleys. So the Himalayas stretch over the northern borders of India. The northernmost range is called Himadri. Southern range is called, the middle range is called Himachal. The outermost or the southernmost range is called Shivalik. It is formed by the interplay of three major river systems, the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. It's divided into three sections. The Punjab plain formed by the Indus and its tributaries. Large part of this plain lies in Pakistan, and the Ganga plain extends between Ganga and the Teesta River. Next comes the northern plain. The northern plain are formed due to an interplay of three major river systems. The northern plain is located in the southern part of the Himalayan range. It has been formed by the interplay of three major river systems, the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra, all with their tributaries. The northern plain is also known as Indo-Gangetic Plain. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. Alluvium was deposited by the three river systems in the vast basins at the foothill of the Himalaya, and that forms this fertile plain. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometers. And the plain is about 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad. The material deposited by a river as its velocity reduces may create some riverine islands. Due to the deposition of huge quantity of silt, rivers split into numerous channels, and these are called distributaries. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. The western part of the northern plain is referred to as the Punjab Plain, which is formed by the Indus and its tributaries. The larger part of this Punjab Plain lies in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributaries are the Jhelum, the Chenab, Ravi, Beas, and Satluj, which originated in Himalayas. This particular section is dominated by doabs. Doabs means two water bodies, okay, which means a piece of land which is drained by two water bodies. There's some examples here, and that's exactly how we have the word Punjab derived. Panj means five, and Ab means river bodies. It's like five river bodies drain the area. The Ganga plain extends between Ghaghar and Teesta rivers. It's spread over North India, Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, partly Jharkhand, and West Bengal to its east. Particularly in Assam lies the Brahmaputra plain. There's quite a bit variety of relief features in the northern plain, and it can be divided into four regions: the Bhabhar, Terai, Bhangar, and Khadar. The Bhabhar region is a narrow belt of level surface which lies parallel to the slope of Shivalik. It's about 8 to 16 kilometers in width, and it consists of pebbles deposited by the rivers. Streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy, marshy region, which is known as Terai. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of older alluvium, and it lies above the floodplains of the rivers and present a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar. The newer and the younger deposits of the floodplains are called as Khadar. So the northern plain has diverse relief features. It can be divided into four regions. The river, after descending from the mountain, deposits pebbles in a narrow belt that lies parallel to the slopes of Shivalik, and this is known as Bhabhar. South to the belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and they create a wet, swampy, and marshy region known as Terai. And the largest part of the northern plain is formed of the older alluvium, also known as Bhangar. The newer and the younger deposits of the fold of the flood on the plains are called Khadar. The Peninsula Plateaus are also called tablelands. So the Peninsula Plateau is also a tableland. It was formed due to the breaking of Gondwana land. It is composed of old crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. The Peninsula Plateau consists of two broad divisions: the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The flow of the rivers named Chambal, the Sindh, and the Betwa and Ken is flowing from southwest to northeast. The eastward extensions are locally known as Bundelkhand and Baghalkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension, drained by the Damodar River. The Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. The highest peaks include Anaimudi, that is 2,695 meters, and Doda Beta, 2,637 meters, Mahendragiri, 1,501 meters. These are the highest peaks in the Eastern Ghats. One of the distinct features of Peninsula Plateau is the black soil, which is also known as the Deccan Trap. The rocks are igneous and denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of it. The Peninsula Plateau is a tableland which is composed of old crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. It's a part of the oldest landmass on the Earth's surface. It has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. The plateau consists of two main divisions, Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. Okay, we are not going to talk of the Indian deserts because we've not covered it still. The coastal plains. The Peninsula Plateau is flanked by stretches running along the Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal on the east. The western coast is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea, and it is a narrow plain. The northern part of that coast is called the Konkan coast. The central stretch is called the Kannad plain, while the southern stretch is referred to as the Malabar coast. The plains along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level. In the northern part, it's referred to as the Northern Sarkar, and the southern part is known as the Coromandel coast. Large rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri form extensive delta on this lake. Lake Chilka is an important feature along the eastern coast. So, the coastal plains extend in the form of a strip along the Bay of Bengal on the east and Arabian Sea on the west. Western coast is sandwiched between Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. It is a narrow plain, consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called Konkan. Central stretch is called Kannad plain. Southern stretch is called Malabar coast. Lake Chilka is an important feature on the eastern coast. So with this, I end the revision class. I'm not giving you all any homework. You all can just make sure you all have understood everything up till now correctly, because next we are going to move further in the chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.